Oh my gosh, I cannot contain my excitement today. I can't wait to get this episode started, but I know that this is going to be a lot, so I have to preface you guys. I have to give you guys a little bit of a backstory of what's about to happen here, okay? So sit down, buckle up, get ready. Welcome back to URL versus IRL. You guys, today's episode is so special, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be the first of many because I'm going to have two of my very best friends on this podcast. Now, let me dial it back a little bit. Let me take you way back to a couple months ago when I first came up with the idea for this podcast. When I first birthed this now production of a podcast, okay? I originally thought that this was going to be a co-hosted podcast, but not just me with one other person. I thought this was going to be me with two other people, okay? And the two other people that I immediately had in mind, I really believe that this podcast was inspired by the conversation that I have with these two people because I talk to them on a regular basis, you guys. Let me break this down for you. I have known these two boys since very early on in life. I met one of them in middle school and met the other one in elementary school, but we were about to go into middle school. Like we were in 5th grade, okay? So I originally thought that I was going to be co-hosting the podcast with these two. And then I realized that I am the person with the inconsistent schedule that can never actually commit to anything. So then I decided that maybe it would be a little bit easier if I did a solo podcast so that I can just do this as soon as I have time for it and I can make time for it in my schedule and then bring these two on as often as possible. Let's dig into today's episode. I am so excited. Let's get it going. You're tuning into URL versus IRL, hosted by Bree Lynch. All right, cool. Okay, the time has finally come. Here we are. Ryan, say something.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to put down the slate. Just trying to be quiet.
There's no reason to be quiet. We're here now. Here we go.
Now we're talking. Now we can't be quiet. We're forced to not be quiet for probably an hour.
Wait a minute. Be quiet so I can actually tell people who you are.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead.
No, you tell them.
Oh. I am Josh, and I am Bree's boyfriend.
Ooh, I love the intro. Good title.
Yeah.
Don't expect me to introduce myself to people like that, though. I'm Bree, and I'm Josh's girlfriend. Hell no.
I'm not my own person. I'm literally just Bree's girlfriend, and that's it. I mean, boyfriend.
Baby, you can be whatever you want.
I'm not cutting that out of this. That's fucking comedy gold right there.
Oh shit! No, you play a very important role today. You're pretty much playing what would you be? Producer
Josh.
I'm producer and audio engineer today.
Audio tech
nerd, and I'm manning the actual interface, the Rodecaster Duo interface, and I'm mitigating Ableton Live right now. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun for me. It's a big responsibility.
And we got one more person in the room. Introduce yourself.
You just said a bunch of things that I didn't understand, so that's okay. But I am Ryan, and I am Josh's boyfriend. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding, guys. No, I've been friends with Bree since our senior year of high school. We've been the bestest of friends for a long time. Yeah. I've known Josh for a long time as well. We went to high school together, but
but I was your best friend.
Bree is what brought us all together, for sure.
Yes.
So we're not friends?
No, we are friends. We are friends.
Okay. All right. As long as you say so.
Josh always trying to steal all my people. It's fine. I steal your friends too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all good. One big happy family. Anyways, welcome to URL versus IRL, you guys. I'm so excited. Yay. I feel like you guys don't understand. Listen, audience, let me tell you right now. Y'all don't understand how important these two guys sitting in front of me are, especially even to this podcast. Like, let's go beyond my personal relationship with them. When I originally came up with the idea of this podcast and came up with like the whole scheme, the premise, everything like that, I originally based this idea off of the conversations that I have been having with Josh and Ryan for years. Like, Ryan and I used to be on the phone. You used to drive far for work.
Still do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
We just don't talk on the phone as much anymore. Anyway, Ryan and I used to talk on the phone every single day when he was on his way to work and when he was on his way back from work, and our conversations would get so deep. I was like, we need to do a podcast. Josh, on the other hand, is a professional yapper over here, and you should hear it. It's literally never silence in our house.
It's so funny because I feel like the only reason I'm on this podcast for two reasons. One, because people always tell me, your voice would be really good on any kind of podcast.
Oh,
And
do
I
they
was
really
like,
tell you that?
Oh, yeah, they really told me that. Oh, bro, let me tell you something. Yeah, so people always kind of tell me that sometimes. And then also, when you introduced this idea to me, and like Ryan introduced the idea to me, you guys were just like, yeah, you should totally jump on the podcast with us as well, even if I wasn't going to just be like audio engineer or whomever you were going to have me be for this. So I'm very excited.
Well, you're a very good conversationalist. So anyway, like I said, I kind of based the idea of this podcast off of the three of us. And then I realized that my work schedule is fucked. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to be consistent in this group. And it's just going to get frustrating. And I'm definitely going to let the ball drop. If it's going to be anyone, it's probably going to be me. So then I was like, maybe I'll just do this podcast as a solo podcast and have them as like regulars on the show, because then this way, when it's just me, if it has to be just me because maybe I'm out of town for work or whatever it is, or maybe my schedule's getting freaking crazy like it does, then, you know, the show can still go on without overworking the three of us. Anyways,
I can only hope.
Are you guys excited for this episode? I feel like all of us are smiling. We're so like excited.
No, I'm very excited.
I'm smiling. Jamie's in the background smiling. And
Jamie.
she's not even hopping on the mic.
Yeah, I know. Our friend Jamie is literally just here chilling with us. She brought us Chipotle earlier. It was a great time. And now she's...
It was the best Chipotle I've ever had.
Yeah, and now she's keeping our dogs quiet while she's watching the game. Anyways, so yeah, I'm very excited for this today. I think that the topic that I want to have this episode be about today is literally the title of the show, if you guys are down. Like URL versus IRL. I think that all of us have very different relationships with the internet and social media, and I only know that from knowing the two of you personally, but I think we should probably teach our audience a little bit of something. So, first of all, what year were you guys born? Ryan, you go first.
I will start. Okay, yeah. So I was born in the year of our Lord and Savior, 1995.
Not Lord and Savior. Lord and Savior. Who?
Really quick interjection there. Interjection? I meant injection. Who is the Lord and Savior in 1995?
Whoever
it's
you want
Ryan,
it to be.
clearly.
It's me. Yeah,
Clearly
I was
it's
born.
Ryan.
Definitely Ryan
No,
at
yeah,
that
but-
point. Yeah.
But I was born in 1995, so that puts me at freshly 29, feeling fine.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Hell yeah, brother.
that's
my
where I started, and
goodness.
here I am.
For me, I was born in 1996, January of 1996. So that puts me at 28 years old.
Well, I was born in June of 1996, so I'm still 27 years old, but I'll be 28 by the time that this podcast comes out.
Woo!
I know. I'm trying to release this on my birthday. I'm a little stressed out because it's like the middle of June right now.
We're
but it's all
definitely pushing
good.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pushing it a little bit. We don't got the theme music yet, but it's all good. We gonna figure it out,
I'm
baby.
working on it.
Well, we'll have it when they hear this.
When they're hearing
Yeah,
this
that's
episode, the theme music's literally going to play before this episode, and then they're going to hear us talk about this. They're going to be like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Yeah, let us know what you think for real. We need to know. We need to know. Josh has been a musician for 15 years, so, you know, no pressure.
But I haven't like created like beats or like composed anything on a DAW or anything like that myself, aside from like recording with like a band and my current band. So yeah. But anyways, continue.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Anyway, so as we kind of mentioned a little bit, all of us know each other already. We've all known each other for years, like going on at least 10 years. Okay, so first of all, our high school reunion is coming up. All of us graduated from the same high school in the same year, which is crazy. We all graduated in 2014, so it's 2024, and our high school reunion is finally coming up, which I'm so excited for. I'm dragging the two of them to this high school reunion. Yeah. They do not have any interest of going whatsoever.
We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to give it like a good 45 minutes before I judge it. But
before you judge it, that's better than at least before you're like trying to leave.
I'm trying my hardest to walk in with good expectations, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cool.
Honest to God, I mean, we talked about possibly even doing an episode on that at some point.
I would love to.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll probably go to the reunion and then make an episode about that. So if that's something you guys want to hear about, you know, you'll have to let us know in future episodes.
Even if you don't, it's something we're going to talk about, and I will be recording it. So more likely than not, it will be an episode. So you have that to look forward to. You have no choice. They got that to look forward to at minimum. Okay, so let's take it back a little bit further. So obviously, all of us are zillennials, as we like to call ourselves. So I know that all of us grew up with the internet, clearly. That's what it feels like to me anyway. Like, I feel like we were really like learning the internet as we were growing up because it was kind of becoming a more popular thing as we were growing up.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you guys' relationship was like with computers in the house, technology, social media, all that kind of stuff?
I think the most I can honestly say or remember from my past, and specifically like how my upbringing was with technology in the house, like when I was a kid, before we had computers in the house, before my family could afford a computer or a home computer or anything like that, we had video game systems that were a little cheaper than having like a home computer. And so we had Nintendo 64 and NES and everything like that in the house. And then as I got older, my first introduction into like big technology was the home computer, a big desktop computer, which my family got probably in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So I would use the home computer in the house every time I got done school. And funny enough, my first introduction to it was my friend introduced me to a video game on the computer called RuneScape. And it was Ryan's like nodding his head, and he's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Every day after school, me and the kid next door would go to his house to, like, I would watch him, but we would be RuneScape. Yeah,
that's so funny.
So that was my introduction to technology in the beginning, and then MySpace came out, and funny enough, I had one of those as well. Time moved forward. I also was into LimeWire, so unfortunately, I hate to tell everyone out there, as a musician, I did illegally download some songs because
we all did.
Whoa,
we all
canceled.
I could not afford them on my measly elementary school salary because
did you get an allowance?
No, I did.
I did not get an allowance either.
No,
did you?
No, I did not either.
Whoa!
So whoever out there got an allowance, you are one lucky.
Was the allowance
son of a
just like a made up thing?
I think it was less common. Like it was very much like a TV thing. I feel like all the kids on the TV shows that we watched growing up got allowances, but I didn't really know many people that were getting allowances.
Yeah, you weren't getting an allowance unless your family was fucking loaded.
Yeah.
And like,
also, what are you just teaching your kids about capitalism at 5 years old?
That's
go off.
Like who cares? Like who cares?
and there's parents out there who do that, but you know there's very militant parents out there that are like that.
Wait, I saw a video on the internet recently where they like gave their kid an allowance, but they also like took rent, utilities, blah 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 blah. Like obviously on a way smaller scale, but like pretty much they would like give their kid like an allowance, like a paycheck, and teach them that this is the kind of stuff that you're gonna have to do. So they were pretty much trying to the look on Ryan's face right now.
God, we fucking love capitalism.
They were trying to teach their kid
consumerism.
I think they were trying to teach them how to budget and the fact that like this is what you're gonna have to do to prioritize where your money goes first, and then you have the rest of this.
I don't want to derail, but how old is this child?
I don't remember. This was a long time ago that I saw this video on the internet.
Can we just let kids be kids? Anyway, I'm done. That's it.
I agree. Anyways. I mean, I think maybe when they like turn 15, 16 and you're trying to prep them to start leaving the house, but not like a 10-year-old. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Totally.
I mean, I don't really want kids, but I would never charge a kid rent.
Yeah.
I
there's
that.
other ways to teach them about money than just like
I think I would.
Putting their money in your pocket.
No, I think I would. I think I would maybe take, like, when my kid gets their first job, maybe I would, like, charge them, like, something stupid, like $20 for rent. And I would probably put it somewhere for them that I would hand back to them when they're moving out.
I mean, that's different, yeah.
But just to, like, teach them how to budget properly.
But if you're charging, like, $500 of rent
no, that's crazy.
That's like half
this
of their
was, like,
paychecks.
a 7-year-old or something.
But I will say, even the parents that do charge their kids, like, $500 and stuff for rent, they usually go the way where they put it in an account, and then the kids are happily surprised that their parents are putting it away for them.
And that's the only good part. I don't know. I just feel like subjecting kids to the harsh realities of the world so early just let them be kids. Like, they have their whole life to be depressed adults. Like, it's like
go off.
Well, let's pull it back a little bit. So I had a home computer, was into a lot of what was going on in the early 2000s, and it was really cool. That was my main introduction into technology, and then it continued to pursue into today's time where, like, now I'm a cybersecurity major. So that's my upbringing, and that's my background a little bit on it. Ryan?
Yeah, so I had like a similar very beginning to what Josh said. Like, that it was the same with us. Like, we had the like central, I think this is pretty universal, the central desktop that the whole family used. We were similar too with the gaming systems being a little more prominent in the beginning. Yeah, like it was just a little bit like that was what we were leveling up on. The computer stuff wasn't as important because there were 3 kids, so it was like more video game centered.
Definitely.
I started with computer games like on the desktop, so like the CDs that you'd put into the computer and you would play those. My brother had like he had an N64. That was the first one I was alive for, but he had the one before that as well.
Nice.
And then, PlayStation, I had PlayStation 2, I had an Xbox 360, all this other stuff. Like throughout the years, like we always kind of upgraded on the gaming systems.
Yeah,
I played a lot of games, but in
Your
addition
family
to that,
was like up to date with the tech, huh?
my dad I think was into it, and he he had a cell phone right when that happened because of his job. So my mom got a cell phone, so we were kind of like versed in everything, like everything that as society was upgrading in technology, we were kind of getting introduced to all of that stuff as well. My household was pretty balanced though. Like I still was come home from school, drop the book bag and leave. But I was also on AOL Instant Messenger. That was kind of my introduction to like.
I never had AOL.
Really?
Yeah, I never did.
That was my first email address. rdjeterfan11 at AOL.com.
Same thing with like AIM. Is AIM and AOL the same thing?
No.
Yeah, well, yes and no. So like AIM stands for AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
There were other instant messengers as well, but AIM was the most important, most popular one.
I never had it.
That's where all the shit went down.
I just learned what ASL meant like last week. Not American Sign Language, but
definitely not American Sign Language. But yeah, so I was introduced to everything basically that was out there as I was growing up, because we were kind of in that era where things were starting to boom.
Yeah.
I downloaded illegal music at one point. But I also had an iPod and bought music as well.
Rest in peace, LimeWire.
Yeah, rest in peace, LimeWire. I also forgot to mention that I was also on AIM as well when I first got
I'm not
on the
surprised.
computer and everything like that.
That is where you linked up with all of your school friends, because we were too young to like go to
Your
our
school
friends.
I didn't
Yeah.
have friends, so
Your
I guess that's
school
why I didn't have
friends.
it.
It was your school friends or randos, like, just random people.
I mean,
like,
for
all
me,
the
it
time.
was only school friends. I didn't really though, and like Chris, my friend Chris,
Yeah,
like he
Chris.
went to different schools, so
Yeah.
that's how we connected.
Yeah.
Once he started going off to different schools and stuff like that. But yeah, so we would always connect in that way on AIM, and then I got introduced to social media. I want to say late middle school. I got a Facebook. I missed MySpace, so then I was introduced to social media on Facebook. But really, for me, and we'll go more into this, but I was very much a balanced kind of person.
Nice.
Like some people and I'm not saying this is a negative, but some people like chronically live online. Like they're always online. Some people are like in and out. I was very much just kind of, I know how to use these things, but they are not my favorite thing. Like I don't.
You're
need,
literally still like that to this day. I
No,
feel like.
I really like. It's all about balance. It's for me,
and
for sure.
It's definitely gotten worse today. We can see it nowadays.
Yeah,
but
look
like,
at me.
It was
I'm
still
kidding.
even.
I mean,
it was still even bad back then. Like even when MySpace and Facebook were around, like people were glued to their computers, their phones, their laptops, and everything. Like
well,
that.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, once you had phones that had apps for social media,
Yeah.
done.
Oh,
It was
That's true.
Game set match. Like
as soon as the iPhone got introduced around like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, and we realized that we could have an app for all different platforms of social media, it was game over.
Wait,
Right.
Ryan, have you ever had an iPhone?
no.
I was gonna ask
Well,
when your
okay.
first
Whoa,
iPhone was,
you've
Josh.
never had an iPhone?
So I've never had an iPhone as my own phone. Technically,
Holy shit.
Technically, I had an iPhone for 6 months through a job.
Oh, okay,
But it
okay.
was a work phone, but I hardly ever used it, except my friends got excited because they were like, wait, we can play iMessage games together.
Yeah.
So
Oh
that's,
my
so that's
fucking God.
the only thing I would use the work phone on. Was that we hardly used it for our job, and I hardly needed it for anything else. So yeah, so 6 months I technically had an iPhone, but not really.
That's
I have never
crazy.
purchased, nor have my parents purchased me an iPhone in my lifetime. So
Damn, my
I
first
can't-
iPhone was like an iPhone 5, I think. And then my iPhone 5 actually got stolen at a concert while I was crowd surfing. I dropped my phone out of my back pocket, I guess.
man.
And then somebody stole it. And then the band announced it on stage. It was Issues, and I knew them. So they
Nice.
they like announced it, and then people did not return it. They were like, "We'll give you whatever free merch you want and like take pictures and blah blah blah." And they were like, "No, like
Oh
it doesn't
my
matter."
goodness.
Like
Oh
they
my
kept my
goodness.
shit.
My
My mom was pissed.
no,
The first iPhone I had was 4S or something.
my
like
brother,
that.
cool
my brother,
kid.
he's older than me,
Yeah.
had the first iPhone, like just the first iPhone.
wow, yeah.
Wow.
Nah,
my
my
dad
family-
had the first iPhone too. It was called the 3, right? Wasn't it like an iPhone 3?
I don't. To be
Thought it
honest,
was like
I think it was just called the iPhone.
yeah, I think it was just called the iPhone.
Yeah.
Who knows? I remember people that had
Yeah.
those. I
I
on the
think
other
the reason why they called it, sorry, I did not mean to cut you off, but I think the reason why they called it like the iPhone 4, 4S and everything like that, and like 4C.
it was for
and
4G.
stuff- Well,
No.
What?
Yes, but it,
Somebody Google this
no,
right
you're right.
now.
You're sorry. I
See,
mixed up.
that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
you know what it
Don't
was?
come at me
No,
like that.
I mixed up.
I think it was also synonymous with the fact that it was the fourth generation of iPhone.
I thought
as
it was
well.
Right.
3G was the first.
3G.
3G.
Yeah,
was,
so that's where the
yes,
3
yes.
came from.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
technically have a 2. I think it went from iPhone to then the iPhone 3 because of 3G, and then we kept upgrading generations by then.
That's possible.
I believe.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, but I think it was
Yeah.
the third generation of iPhone. Then right after that third generation,
I think
of
they just got
iPhone,
lucky.
They got lucky and they were like, let's
Yeah,
just
it
go
was
for
like
4. Because when the fifth iPhone came out, we didn't have 5G.
Right.
5G was
Well, that's
on
why they
the
called it like the
cusp.
5S or something.
yeah,
Or the
yeah,
5C,
yeah.
I can't
5S,
remember.
5C, something
Yeah.
crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, They had like so many different variations of it.
Personally, I was not, to go back to my original question, I
Yeah,
personally did not. We had a desktop computer in my house. I know we're going like 5 minutes back in the story.
Yeah.
But we had a desktop computer in my house, but like I wasn't the person that was ever using it. Like I don't know if I wasn't allowed to use it or if I just had no interest in using it. But anyway, we had our desktop computer in an office. I never touched that thing. I think I thought it was really intimidating. I also was not a video game kid at all. Like
Yeah.
I used to cry trying to play video games with my dad and my brother because they would like get mad at me because they'd have like kill streaks and stuff or whatever. They'd be at like certain levels and then I would come in and fuck everything up. So it was great. And then I think I wasn't allowed to have any social media for a long time. Like I feel like I was a late bloomer with social media, which is maybe why I'm like so obsessed with it now. But
Which is so funny because I felt late. Like going.
I was super
like
late.
I think it was. I want to say 2008, 2000. Yeah. So like I thought getting onto Facebook in 2008 was late.
I didn't have a Facebook until I think my sophomore year.
I
maybe
was
freshman year.
I definitely was like of the first batch of people though to have a Twitter. Like I have like a established 2009 Twitter account that I've had the whole way. But that was my social media of choice. I just loved
Oh,
tweeting.
wow.
It was-
I know
because
you were always really big on Twitter.
you had 140 characters,
Yeah.
so you couldn't waste it. And I thought in a world where people were writing novels on Facebook and just like riffing forever, I was like,
Yeah.
look, bitch, you have to be, you have 140 characters to be creative. Go. Like I just thought it was a cooler platform for that reason. And then now you're threading and the whole thing.
Yeah, with
so
X, all that
funny.
stuff.
I
I feel like
You're right. Twitter, the artist formerly known as Twitter.
At the
Yes,
start,
X.
MySpace was my choice, and then I got kind of peer pressured. Like
I wanted a
in 8th
MySpace
grade.
so bad. I also could you imagine me on Tumblr? I would have thrived on Tumblr.
Yeah, I never had a Tumblr.
I would have been such a Tumblr girl. Like
It was more for the girlies, I think.
I think it
Tumblr,
definitely
yeah.
was, but like I was
Yeah.
deprived of that because my parents
Yeah.
were like, "You're not having any social media." What happened?
Nothing. Oh, Jamie just said that Tumblr is for the gays.
Oh yeah, see, I'm telling you, I would have thrived on
Yes, Jamie.
Tumblr. Jamie's spitting straight facts. I definitely would have thrived on Tumblr, especially now that you have validated that point.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any social media, and then the first time I really remember like having like anything to do on the internet, I feel like was YouTube, and I wanted to make YouTube videos so bad, but my parents were so weird about that. Like they didn't even want me to record in my bedroom because they felt like weird guys on the internet were gonna be like looking in my bedroom and being weird or something. I don't know what the hell that was about. I mean, I guess
They weren't necessarily wrong.
I understand
Yeah.
like not filming in front of your house, but like your bedroom, like how are they going to find you? So anyway, I don't know. That was my first like I feel like introduction to the internet was really YouTube, and then after I finally made like a YouTube channel because I've had so many YouTube channels. I've like been a content creator since I was like 12 years old. I'm pretty sure just because I used to like help my dad edit his demo reel and stuff like that or whatever. But anyways. Then, after I finally was allowed to make a YouTube account, my parents got comfortable with me using the camera for the laptop or whatever for a computer.
Right.
And then I downloaded Uvu, which is actually how Josh and I re-met each other, believe
Yes,
it or
it
not.
is.
So Josh and I go way, way back. Let me tell you guys a real quick story. Josh and I go way back. Josh and I met each other in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And he was my first little boyfriend I ever had in 5th grade. Josh is like, I'm so sick of hearing this stupid story. I lived it. So he was like my first little boyfriend I ever had in 5th grade. And then I believe, took that into middle school. Then he moved because he moved around a lot when we were growing up. And then we broke up, and then we refound each other on Uvu going into high school. And you found out that you were going to move back to our township while we were on Uvu one time. And then you came back in high school. We dated again in high school. And then we broke up because we were high schoolers. And then I moved to California after we graduated. You went into the Air Force, and now here we are again as adults. And now he's 28 and I'm 27, and it's
What
a great time.
Crazy world.
This has been our longest relationship so far, so we're doing
I'm
great.
dead. That just reminds me too, though, of like, do you remember how like shitty Uvu was? Like
It was
the quality,
so bad.
man, the
I have
quality was
screenshots
terrible.
of me and Josh on Uvu.
so bad.
That
Like-
fucking camera was working at like 10 FPS.
No,
Like,
that
it was
shit. That's
crazy.
probably why you liked me, because I had a face full of acne back
Jesus
then. That shit was
Christ,
doing me some
no.
justice.
But that's another thing, though. That was a big thing on Facebook amongst people our age at that time, was like posting their Uvu screenshot, like when they would
Yeah.
have like 6 people and like, look at us
That's why I
hanging
have
out.
evidence. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's very true. Yeah, Uvu was weird though, because wasn't there another one that you could just jump on with strangers? What was it like?
Omegle.
Omegle.
Yeah,
Omegle.
Omegle.
I always
then
want to say
there's-
Omegle, but I'm glad I pronounced it right this time.
Yeah,
I said
Omegle, and there's also Chat Roulette. As
Ooh,
well.
Chat Roulette. I was on that
I think
too.
Chat Roulette was first, and then
Yeah.
Omegle,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Omegle just RIP'd
God,
finally.
Don't we,
Thank God.
don't we just love the internet?
We do love the internet.
No, no, I don't.
Hence this episode.
No, I do not.
No, seriously. Yeah, I mean, but again, like that's what we're here to talk about today is URL versus IRL. I think that like that's, I don't know, I just wanted to talk to you guys because I feel like all three of us have such different relationships with the internet each.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Ryan, you're literally hardly ever on social media. Like, I feel like you should explain this to them, but, so I don't have to.
I mean, you know, it goes back to what I was saying before. Like, I'm always a balanced person. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, when Bree says not on social media, she means not posting. I'm very much I'm a very like active, passive scroller. I watch reels on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, people send me TikToks. I watch them. I hardly log into my. I mean, it's logged in, but I don't hit the app that much.
Right.
Obviously, like X sucks now, so I don't care about Twitter anymore. So yeah, I'm very
Rest
much a
in
passive
peace to a real
scroller.
one.
Honestly, it was so much better pre-Elon. But anyway, yeah. So
You know, me and him have the same birthday.
it's
He's a
unfortunate.
Cancer. His
That's
birthday's June
unfortunate.
28th. My birthday's June 28th. But y'all should know that.
That's unfortunate for
I
you
know.
and the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But yeah. So my thing is, I've just always been somebody who just feels like the internet is very toxic, especially as time has gone on. Like, not so much in the beginning because it was just kind of like a free for all.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on, and you see what it's done to people, like mental health wise, and just, you know, it gives this people like this thing where they have to perform every day. You know, producing content that's not real, but saying it's real. It's just the whole thing. The state of the internet right now is very volatile, I feel like, and it's very much hurting a lot of young people, older people now, because now there's people in their late 30s and 40s who have grown up on the internet. You know, then there's the us where we're kind of in the middle, also growing up with the internet. I just think that there's so many inherent issues with the way the internet is run, because it's still very much in its infancy in the landscape of the whole world.
Yeah.
Good
like-
words. Good.
Thank you,
words.
thank you.
Go
Yeah,
off.
yeah. No, and I just think that you know, it's still very reckless. Like, there aren't that many. Like, you would think, oh, there's a bunch of laws, but like not as many as there probably should be.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just think for the youths of the world, it's just very. It gives off a lot of times a lot of false, you know, ideology. You know, a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the content is very produced but put on as if it is real. And I just, for me, I just feel like it doesn't allow people to just be present. You know, I'm at a concert, let me film this entire set on my Snapchat story or on my Instagram story. I know no one really uses Snapchat
He
anymore.
talking
but
about you, Jamie. No, I'm kidding.
no, I mean, look,
She said, "I key you are."
here's the thing. I'm not saying like, and don't get me wrong. Nothing that I'm not saying anything is right and or wrong. It's just how I feel about it. I just feel like it consumes people. Like, when I'm at a place, I want to experience. Maybe I'll film a song and then I'll move on for the rest of the concert or whatever it is. You know, like, I just feel like balance is what we
Yeah.
really need.
What's crazy is I feel like I finally got like a balance very recently
Sure.
in life, because again, like URL versus IRL. So I think I am definitely a victim to everything that you've literally just said out loud, like
Sure.
literally feeling personally attacked because I don't know. I think that like I had a really big account on the internet at one point. Like, I had like a decent following and everything like that. And I felt like I was getting so sick and tired of that account because everything was picture perfect, polished, finished every single time that I would upload. And I got so
it had
sick
to
of
be.
it. Yeah, it really did,
Yeah, it had
because
to
of
be.
sponsors, because of the people that were following me, like to
Yeah.
keep up with my engagement and all that other kind of stuff. And I got so sick of that I ended up making my personal account, which is Bree Lynch IRL. And I felt like that was going to be a place that I could really just like be myself and be organic and not feel like everything had to be a polished finish to produce and show to the world and to the internet and everything, because I had so many more things that I was interested in that weren't specifically exactly what I was posting all the time. But then if I posted the real life stuff on my bigger account, everybody hated me and everybody just wanted me to like literally crawl into a hole and die is what it felt like. I think that this is something that I have been talking about for like years in my brain for the past probably like 4 or 5 years. I've just been like frustrated with all of this, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, you know, you make a really good point about like people getting really frustrated. Like if you didn't put out this like picture perfect, really clean, final, super heavily polished piece of content out, then they were completely demonizing you over the internet, specifically because you didn't provide the service that they were looking out for, which is crazy because like something I was going to mention while Ryan was talking about like the discordance that social media and technology has caused to humanity is that it has completely removed human connection. And I'm not just talking about human connection in the sense of face-to-face like value. I'm talking human connection like humanity has been taken out of everything.
Yeah.
Like everything. And I mean like she can't even post like her whole platform of being an automotive creator or an automotive influencer, whichever she wants to swing it or call it. She is good at what she does, and even if she doesn't want to make it her whole persona, that's fine, but like this is what she has to post, and God forbid she decides she wants to become even slightly vulnerable or even slightly show the other sides of herself, then everybody's like, boo, hiss, we don't want that.
Not
like,
hiss.
And it's
No,
crazy.
it's so true.
And it's crazy because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The human connection has been taken away. It's been taken away because they don't care that you are Brianna Lynch, a human. They care that you are Brianna, a content creator.
You provide me this entertainment.
You provide me this entertainment. So what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, what's crazy is like Ryan and I, one time I came home for my aunt's wedding, and Ryan and I just went to my aunt's wedding together, and like I tried to post that and got so many people like, first of all, thinking that Ryan and I were dating, so they were just like pissed off about that, and then immediately just like giving me all this crap about like posting that and asking when I was going to work on my car and this and that and blah blah blah, and it was just like kind of fucking ridiculous, you know? Like I should be able to just live my life and post whatever it is that I want, and like also like I don't know, I feel like Instagram specifically should be like a digital diary for us, you know what I mean? And if that's how I want to treat it, that's how I should be able to treat it. I shouldn't be getting like crap from people because I'm not posting whatever it is that they expected for me to post when they came to my page, which is, I feel like this is where I get really deep with the whole like creating a brand and like being a content creator kind of thing, because I feel like when I was creating this brand that I had that was called Helmet Hair, please, for the love of God, do not look it up. I don't want you to follow that account. I will be upset if you do, because I don't go on there anymore. It's inactive. Like, literally, don't even waste your time. But when I was creating Helmet Hair and I was building a following on the internet and everything like that, I think I did a good job and I did know what I was doing. But the problem with that is that like that wasn't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then like I constantly just felt like I was lying to these people, or like I was just putting on this persona or this character for people. And then the second that I wanted to do anything different, like I could even do something that was related to my job. I'm a whole ass professional driver, and I would post something that was related to my job, not related to the car, and people were like pissed
Comments
off.
like, don't care.
Yeah,
Where's the race car?
Yeah, literally. They were like, when are you getting back in the garage? Like, what?
And you've also brought up to me in passing over the last year and a half that you have almost felt like this imposter syndrome in a way, because you are so separated from automotives at the moment.
I dropped my whole clothing company because of it.
The clothing company got kind of put to the side. You sold your race car.
Yeah.
You know, like it really did you did a 180 to your following, and I'm sure they are definitely feeling it slowly. I mean, it has, in retrospect of like content creation, it definitely has been like a pretty short time, but you've posted videos online on your YouTube, on the Helmet Hair YouTube and everything like that. Yeah. And like you've explained and you've expressed to people exactly like where your head has been at. You've pushed the new Instagram that you have currently that, you know, and everyone's always asking you like, well, why didn't you just, if you wanted your following from Helmet Hair to stay and remain, why didn't you just rebrand Helmet Hair into this thing?
Because I didn't want to watch everybody hate me and literally unfollow me all at one time. That would have made me spiral.
Right.
Like I worked so hard to get that account to where it was, and I don't want to watch, you know, 10,000 people unfollow me in a day because I decided to post something real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't want that for myself. Like that would have been horrible for my mental health.
And then relate that to like somebody whose account wasn't attached to sponsors or money or anything, like a normal person. Like this is where the toxic part comes in, right? Like if you're just a normal person, a college student, an accountant, and you take so much stock in like how many likes you get on a post.
Because that happens to people. Like people really get wrapped up in that shit.
Yeah, like if they get like less than 50 likes in the first 15 minutes, they delete it. Like being so emotionally invested in something that is not real. I know everyone makes fun of me when I say this because I say this about everything. I'm like, it's not real. It's not real. But like it really,
it's a simulation.
It's just a social platform where you can express yourself creatively or show people what you're doing, but it shouldn't have any real stock in your feelings or the way. I mean, you can get positive feelings from it, like, oh, look at this cool thing I did, and I want to show people, you know. But that's almost what Facebook has kind of become. It's like I just keep my Facebook so my family can see what I'm doing. But like, people really invest real time and real energy into these social media accounts that do not benefit their mental health. They're not getting paid from it. It's not their career. They're investing all of this like mental energy and space on just trying to create the perfect profile. And it's just destroying, you know, the thought, like the way that people think about the world, because they're not experiencing life with others around them. They're just like posting things on the internet and hoping that those people from their homes like a picture.
Yeah. So something I was going to say to piggyback off of what you were just saying, funny enough, social media to humanity has become social equity. Like humanity.
For sure.
Something I learned while I've been in college again, there was something we were learning in this class that I took. It was a society, ethics, and technology class, which really talked about the existential crisis and threat that technology has on humanity. And we learned about this term called gamification. And gamification is this idea, just to keep it very brief, very short, is the idea that humans have turned social media into this game. Like it's a game. And the likes become power-ups and level ups, and the amount of followers you have it's like gaining boosts.
They did like a Black Mirror episode with this, where like literally the social media platform became like a game. Yeah,
literally, wait, that's literally how I think of it.
Literally, if you've never watched Black Mirror, audience, Black Mirror is exactly where humanity is heading, and it's predictive programming in a way.
Wasn't Black Mirror boring in the first like episode?
Black Mirror has
quite
never,
the opposite.
Black
What?
Mirror
Because I
has
thought I
never
tried to
been
watch
boring.
it and I thought that I got bored.
There's no way you watched the first episode and thought this was boring, because it's one of the crazy. I don't remember singular episodes of TV that often. It's one of the wildest things that I've ever seen on a television set.
Okay, I'm gonna try to watch it again because I think that
It's
maybe
horrifying.
Really,
Like not like actually scary, but it's just
but
like because it's so real. That's why it's scary. Like
absolutely.
It's like it's a reflection. What they do is they exaggerate things that are going, like they use it's kind of like South Park almost, where they use like a really crazy.
Never watched South Park.
They'll use like a really crazy concept that they make up in their show to reflect something that's happening in our current society, and then you don't realize it until right at the end, and you're like, oh wow, you mean like just like what we're going through right now, and then you're like, that's frightening. It's like that kind of frightening.
It's funny because like in South Park's essence, it's meant to be satirical, where like in Black Mirror's essence, it's like, we're trying to be satirical, but actually this is really truthfully kind of like predictive programming in a way.
Wait,
like realistically.
You mentioned a big word. What was it? Gamification. What was
Gamification.
I was so close. I said gramification.
Yeah, gamification.
By the way, Josh and Ryan are both like dictionaries, and I, on the other hand, like have the vocabulary of a third grader.
I was trying not to sound like hey brother, like a big brain.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
I was trying not to sound like a big brain, but like I felt like when you're talking about topics like this, it's very important to be very like on it and on the nose with a lot of what you're trying to talk about. And specifically, like, you don't really need to use all these big terms a lot of times, but these big terms really like they come very much so into play when trying to talk about these existential risks that, you know, technology and social media and everything like that has on, you know, human life. I mean, the biggest thing we've been talking about since the start of the podcast has been the complete threat it has on people's social well-being and mental health and just overall like how it's just taken away human connection.
Yeah, in more ways than one. Like I think the big thing that I always kind of fall back to with social media and the way that people interact on the platforms is that a lot of the social norms that have been established over the last however many hundreds of years you want to talk about have just completely been broken. You know, there's no like compassion or empathy, and we've become very numb to a lot of things that if you saw them in real life, you would absolutely freak out, but you see it on an Instagram reel and you're just like, oh, just another one.
Wait,
and,
give us an example.
Well, I think the big one right now, and Josh is on this with me. With me, we've talked about this before personally, off the mics. Where the big trend right now is like people being hurt in many different ways, like getting hit by cars and getting
that is all over my dad's Instagram
we
feed.
have talked about that. Well, I'm not surprised. You guys are automotive people.
I mean, no, my dad is also a professional stunt driver.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah. But
we have to emulate these
something
things.
that we've talked about in passing every time we hang out and everything like that is literally how the algorithm is just completely fucked. Like, I mean, aside from,
but so are the people in it. Like, if you read it, they'll
go off.
Well, because the comments are like, that was crazy, or like they'll make like a joke, like the big one right now is like when a guy on a motorcycle gets hit by a car, they'll just go biker's fault. Like,
yeah.
Like it's
or
always
I literally will see comments where like the car will literally be completely obliterated in a crash, and then they'll be like, "How does this hurt the car?"
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah, as a joke, yeah,
like
or,
it's fucking, it's cowardice and it's soulless.
The big
and
one,
it's insanity.
The big one right now is like when you'll see like someone get like thrown out of a car, and you know they do flips and the whole thing, and they land on the ground, and the first comment is like,
ejectocito code.
It's in the same vein, but usually the first comment is everyone is okay with it, like a colon parenthesis smiley face, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Or it's like,
that's not funny, dog.
Or it's like a fucking gif of like people doing like spirals or circles because they're just flying in the air.
Just
like
very satirical comments.
It's awful.
Usually, yeah.
It's
so
awful.
I just feel like and because of that though, we've lost so much empathy in real life, right? Like if someone goes, oh, like so and so's whatever died, and they'll go like, and people make jokes like, wow, they fucking deserved it, which like they don't mean it, but like we used to, like that used to be like pretty crazy to say out loud. Like
absolutely.
Like if you talk to any of our parents and you ever wish death on a person, it's like so taboo. As it, honestly,
very much so.
Not to sound old, as it should be. Like I don't think that we should be out here being like fucking die. That's another thing we do though on the internet a lot. Like
well, the comments that we just make out loud as people now are crazy.
Changed.
Like
to strangers
and the way that we just like casually throw in like KMS like in just random conversation is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I hear like 10-year-olds saying this shit, and I'm like,
I don't even want to make a comment on that because I use it.
Oh, you
every day,
say it
every day.
Yeah, you do.
But like,
you always say it's your 13th reason.
Always.
That's a joke. Me and my friends use that one too, and it's bad. But we only do it with each other though. Like I would never say that to like a mixed group of strangers. And I think that's the difference too. Like people have become very candid in public.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that like we should be a different person in private than we are in public. But I think a little bit of a filter is okay when you're meeting new people or like you're on the internet where anyone can read it.
I was gonna say people are so candid on the internet. Like you should see some of the comments and some of my posts and stuff.
Well, you've talked about this before. Like you posted like a picture of you and Josh, and someone's like, "Well, I guess I'm going to just throw myself into traffic." Like,
oh my goodness,
it's a stranger.
So funny. Like I'll see couples post on social media all the time, and it's like big couples, like big couples. Because that's been like the latest trend where like couples just make social media accounts for each other, and
people love social media couples.
Love going. Yes, they do, but yes, they don't, because it also makes the world feel like very lonely for all the single people out there.
Yeah, it's true.
And like, I think it's so funny because, like, I don't actually think it's funny by saying this. It's crazy to me to look in the comments and some of the videos where like couples are being like super, super lovey-dovey, or like, look at what my husband, or look at what my partner, or look at what my wife does for me.
These like grand gestures that they're only doing because they have a social media following.
And people will be in the comments like, people say the most outrageous things when it comes to these types of videos. And I'm not putting blame on the social media couple for putting that content out. I can.
They're just working the system.
I can swing both ways with it. They are working the system. Do I admit that a lot of the content? Do I admit that a lot of the content can be very cringy? Yes, honest to God, if you want my honest opinion, 90% of these couples out there, their content's completely cringy, and I don't know why they continue to do it. But I say I don't know why they continue to do it when I know the reason why is because they're getting sponsored. They're getting money out of this. They're like, everyone knows that's where like we like bringing it back to originally how we started the conversation about social media being fake and this, that, and the third. It is fake. It is not real. They conjured this content specific, like, you're not going, like, people prop the camera up like, watch what I did to my husband while he wasn't looking. Like, your husband knows the fucking cameras in the corner.
Yeah, it's
I know
bullshit.
the fucking cameras in the corner. I know that the fucking iPhone's
Oh yeah,
in the
I just
corner,
leave my iPhone
and the
standing
ring light.
vertically on the mantle all the time.
But
like,
the
what do you
crazy
Like,
part
what are you
is though,
talking about? People fall for it.
they believe it. Like, they think it's, they're like,
believe it.
look at how funny this is, and I'm like, dude, it's not real.
It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not genuine. And I hate, like, who are we to say that? But on the real note, like, to the listeners who do choose to listen to this podcast, just understand it's not real. I don't care what you say. You can give me any, I promise you, you cannot argue or debate this. It is not real. It's
Literally,
not
none of it is real.
And it's the same
None
thing.
of it's real.
And like, not that this is the topic, but like, I've been saying this for years about reality television too. Like, anything that has reality, like, people, like, they're using real people, it's still produced content that people are, curating to appeal to certain audiences. And I wasn't going to do it. But Josh brought it up. I fucking hate social media couples. I think they are one of the worst things right now on social media.
Yeah, I wish they would get banned, really.
I'm not, I'm not like, look, I'm a lover of love, shipper of ships, but what I'm not is somebody who likes people who have influence to lie to their, I'm sorry, like, these social media couples are so, and like, I've fallen victim to it, like, feeling bad about like either a relationship that I'm in, or just or like, if you're single, being like, why can't, someone treat me that? It's not like, not that these people don't have their healthy relationships, but they are setting up situations, saying these things that like, they are things that they don't normally do and things that they don't normally say to get clicks, likes, they make money, they get sponsorships. And we fall for it. Like, these are not real. And I really think that social media couples perpetuate and make it really hard for people to have healthy relationships because they set these expectations that are so high.
They're not even so high. They're unrealistic.
They're completely unrealistic.
Completely unrealistic.
And it's the same. And I felt the same way growing up, more so in this vein about like, say, like a lot of these romance movies.
Yeah.
Like, I think they set like these really high bars. And I know I sound like such a man right now, but I don't mean that like men shouldn't be good to women. But I think like some of these grand gestures, like, no, I'm not, like, you can't just like drop your entire life and jump on a plane. It just not, nobody does this,
Yeah.
There's phones. You make the phone call and be like, look, I'm going to come when I can't. Like, whatever.
The people that do this, they're anomalies. But like, it's,
I mean, literally, like, I'm thinking about The Notebook the entire time we're talking about this.
Which isn't real. You know what I'm saying?
Jamie's ears perked as soon as we said Notebook.
But like, you know what I'm saying though? Like, that's not real, and neither are these people on social media.
Yeah, totally.
It's all produced content, and I think social media is the bane of our society's existence right now.
If they're getting money for it, it's not real. It's not real.
And all we're trying to do, like, all day is just impress strangers on the internet.
Yeah,
quite honestly.
It's so lame, bro. And honestly, I really feel bad for the people, and I don't mean this in like a condescending way. I truly do. I feel bad for people who put their mental stability on the back of other people's comments.
Yeah.
It's
like, hinging on every single comment, like, follower. That has to be torturous. It
is torturous. I'll tell you, it is. I know.
It's not
firsthand experience.
It's not real. And then you said it earlier, and I actually kind of twitched a little bit when you said I put so much hard time and effort into this account, and I'm like, ugh, why? Like, and I know why, because that was a business. But I'm just saying in general, because you take out the business part were a lot of other people who put so much time and effort into their accounts. And it's just, none of this is real. And then a lot of the times you get a following, you put in all this work, and then people are still in your comments like, LOL, go die. And it's like, we've just lost everything that we ever had. It like, you would never do that in the street. Like, you would never like the comparison, right? Someone puts their outfit on Instagram and someone goes, ew, you're ugly, fat, go die. You wouldn't do that in public. Even if you didn't like the person's outfit, you would just like, maybe you'd say something in your head, but I guarantee it wouldn't even be that extreme. If you were in public and you saw a person, one, you definitely wouldn't yell anything at them. And two, if you thought something in your head, you probably go, I don't really like that dress very much, which is okay. That's having an opinion. And then another thing too with social media, it's also created a society where people have just like really decided to have like these really, really strong opinions on everything. Like there's no such thing as like having a soft opinion, you know, or being in the middle. There's no moderate opinions. And I don't mean politically, I just mean in general, you know, fandoms for like things like Star Wars and Marvel. It's like, I hate everything. Oh, I love everything. Well, fuck you. I hate you because you love this thing. It's like why are we yelling at each other on the internet about like, lightsabers, dog? Like,
also, like, how are we supposed to read text tones in under 140 characters? Like, I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? Like, comments can only be so long, and like, how are we really supposed to? You guys should have seen this comment thread on my TikTok that I made like a couple weeks ago. Somebody literally, I posted a video with my Corvette, and like, I had this whole one girl literally asked respectfully why a Corvette, and there were 3 people in the comment section attacking her without me even saying anything. She was genuinely asking why I picked a Corvette, and was like, I usually see a lot of girls with like Miatas and 350Zs, so I was just curious. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it's good bang for your buck.
Also, you used to have a Z.
I was like, I've had multiple 350Zs, but like literally,
but she was just genuinely asking. It was the attackers who were the problem.
The comment section immediately was attacking her and trying to correct her, and I was like, because guys, relax.
And they think they're defending you, right?
Right, but like I didn't even jump. I hadn't commented anything.
You weren't offended.
No, I wasn't offended.
Also, like that's another thing the internet has done. It's taken out the idea of like back and forth conversations. We can vehemently disagree on something and not hate each other at the end. You know, we've talked about this a couple of different times, not just the actual conversation, but then talking about like the conversation after the fact. We saw a movie a couple weeks ago. Jamie was there.
Poor Jamie.
She was very excited for this movie. We saw it. Me and Josh fucking hated it. We did not like it. Jamie liked it. And you know, she gave her opinions on it, and me and Josh looked at each other. We knew
she got the waiver in hand right now.
We knew that she felt the exact. We felt the exact opposite of her. We stopped, and we were like, you know, and granted, you know, we're friends, so it's different. But we basically like that shit sucks. But we didn't. But what we didn't do, we didn't go. You suck.
Yes, we didn't attack Jamie, and like we just you and I. Ryan,
right?
We just love movies. Jamie also loves movies, but like we love critiquing movies in our own humble opinions. You know, when we finished watching the new Strangers, like we were just being kind of candid,
and we were doing it with Harry Potter, right? We've been watching all the Harry Potter movies.
Oh my goodness!
And all of us have different opinions on like which one is the best.
Everything like that.
At no point was I like, Josh, you're a fucking idiot because you think Azkaban's the best movie, and it's obviously
I said Half-Blood Prince.
You know what I mean?
Azkaban.
But see, you're already yelling at me, and I don't like it.
I am yelling at you. You're right. I'm so sorry.
But you know what I mean? Like we were able to have these discussions and not get angry because it doesn't matter because we're having because it's fun to just talk about who has different favorite this. We were talking about actors at one point in the night. We were talking about like, oh, this actor is these movies and we really like that and yada yada. And you can have these constructive conversations, disagree, and not tell the person to go eat shit because it's not, you don't have to hate a person because they disagree with you. Right. And I feel like that has also kind of dissipated with the rise in social media.
Right. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
You guys both follow a lot of people that we know on the internet. I, on the other hand, don't follow a lot of people that I know on the internet. Like, I just know, I follow like a couple of my friends or whatever. And then other than that, like, I don't know, I follow people that are usually within the same network, or at least I was before on my Helmet Hair account. How do you guys feel like the internet affects your mental health in comparison? Because you guys are not focused on having big numbers. You guys are probably seeing your peers doing things that like maybe you're not doing. Maybe it makes you feel further ahead or a little further behind. Like,
sheesh, I feel like you read me for filth. Okay, so
I'll be
completely candid. I have a decent following on my social media, like decent in my sense. Like I don't know how I would know this many people, but like on Instagram currently, I think I have like almost 900 followers. Like, and that's a lot for me because like that's a lot for me. I've never had that many followers on like anything. And so like I don't care about that number by any means because like my following
899.
Is that what I'm at right now?
Yeah.
899? Or do you look that up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I have 899. How much am I following right now?
You are following 859.
Yeah,
so people in Bree's industry would say you have a bad ratio.
I have a bad
bro.
ratio, right? Yeah. So I couldn't give a fuck less because like to me, so like I have two different wars battled. Like I'm in a band and my band has an Instagram and I want my band's Instagram to succeed very much
HXC.
so. I want my band's Instagram to succeed, but like I also don't like want to always be on that account myself. Thank God for my guitarist Will because he really is the backbone of
shout out to Will.
Will and I really run that Instagram account.
They very much run that Instagram and like I sometimes dabble in it. Sometimes I'll like change some things. I'll answer like one or two messages here and there or I'll like help post a story. Maybe. I don't really touch it and it's not because I don't want to help him or help Bree. Like it has nothing to do with that. I already struggle. Like I can't tell you the last time I've actually posted on my actual Instagram for myself. Yeah. Because
you're more of a stories to promote the band.
Yeah, and I love my friends.
And the memes.
I love my friends wholeheartedly, but if I'm going to be completely candid, I'm very displeased and very unhappy with where I am in life right now at 28 years old. Sure. Like very, very displeased. It makes me very upset every day.
Same, brother.
When I wake up and it's not good. And I'm not going to keep talking about that because I'll spiral. But like I see my friends doing very good on social media and then I immediately close my social media out because as soon as I see someone in my friend group or my age doing even remotely better than me, I kind of just want to literally go off the grid. And it's hard. It's hard because it's like, I don't want to sound like this spiteful, bitter little pussy. I just like, I'm genuinely upset about it. It genuinely, like, I already have bad mental health as it is. And like, I don't really think social media absolutely helps by any means necessary. I'm also like you in that way too, Ryan. Like, I am an active scroller here and there, but realistically, like I'll dabble a little bit to see what's going on. Sure. I also like to try to act like sometimes, I don't want to say act because I feel I very much so am an activist in the sense that like the political climate in the world is getting crazy and I very much so am very caught up on like what's going on in the world and everything. Like I always have to be about what's caught up, like what's going on in the world. I always have to be on it, but that doesn't mean I always have to be like a keyboard warrior because I hate keyboard warriors. Yeah. I hate people who sit behind a keyboard, sit on a computer, talk shit, talk, and do nothing to help those around them or help their community or do anything of that sort, to do anything. They just want to sit behind a computer and talk. And you're useless at that point because what are you doing? Yeah. You know, and that drives me nuts. But to circle back, social media affects my mental health heavily. I don't like it. Really, if it wasn't for my band, my Instagram would have been deleted today, yesterday, the day before. Like
it would have been deleted last year.
It would have been deleted last year. Realistically, I have not posted a genuine post on my account. I post on my stories, but I don't post any. I can't. I don't have the heart into me to do it. Like I just don't care.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have similar and different opinions on social media than you in that category. I will say for me, my followers, it is mostly people that I know, but I will say about a third of it is not people I know, sports things, celebrities, things like that, like people that I like. But what I will say is the accounts that I interact with the most are not people I know. Oh. It's the celebrities, the sports teams, and things like that. Because I don't want to sound like an asshole. Like it's not that I don't care what you have going on. Like I like people's posts all the time. You know, your dog, your girlfriend, this whole thing. Great, glad you're happy. Like I think that's great. But I usually just interact with the stuff that like I'm not in the same place as, like I said, like a celebrity who's like doing their thing, showing their like I like The Rock. Like I follow The Rock on Instagram.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Because he does like he the videos and the different things that he's doing and what he's up to, you know. But I will say sometimes, to be honest, I actually think that's more toxic than the people you know. Because I think that a lot of the times celebrities, not influencers, like real celebrities that are actors, singers, athletes, you know, all those things, are living these lives, and you get such a deeper look now with social media. You're like, man, like, you know, I wish I could have what they got going.
Absolutely.
Because I'm also not super thrilled about my situation right now, and obviously they are, and like they're performing way above where I'm at right now. But yeah, I definitely think my most interacted accounts actually are the non-normal people in my life for sure. But I agree. I have I hardly ever post. I probably post about like once a year on Instagram.
Yeah.
You just posted.
I did just post like 3 weeks ago.
Recently, yeah.
Like,
I made
it's already
a
been 3
big
weeks.
deal of it.
Yeah.
I was like,
we
oh my God.
we made a big deal of it.
Well, the thing was too, and you found out something else when you saw that post, was that I would say probably towards the end of last year, at one point I had a similar feeling to you, is that like none of this matters. I don't care about social media. And honestly, the reason I don't post very often is because there's been many times where I've wanted to post and I go, oh wait, why am I going to post this? Like, who cares? And not who cares like negative to me, but like who cares? Like, yeah, who cares if I express this on social media? The people around me know that I feel this way about a thing, right? Like if I'm tweeting, I don't tweet that much anymore because I'm like, why do people care if I'm throwing thoughts into the ether? I'm also big in being socially aware of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was a keyboard warrior, but I definitely was involving myself in a lot of those discussions. And at one point I had the realization of like, I'm not doing enough to have this much
I hear you.
interaction
I hear
online.
you.
Like take
So,
up this kind of space.
like I checked myself and I was like, you know what? Like I should just be silent, have my opinions to myself, support the things that I support, you know, and you know,
Totally.
among my network of people in real life, advocate for the things that are important in the world, because you know it just doesn't matter if you're arguing on the internet in the comments section with some random dude who has 2 followers.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we do in a lot of these troll accounts. That's the people you're keyboard warrioring against a lot of the time.
And
It's
I
like,
didn't even.
what's the point?
I didn't even mean to get on like such a high horse, because there's also times where I feel like that kind of imposter syndrome as well. Like where I'm like, I feel so strongly about these things going on in the world, but then I'm like, oh, what am I doing enough? I always do like a lot of self-reflection
Yeah, so
too,
do I.
in that sense where I'm like, oh man, could I be doing more? And then I also realize I have to understand, I have to be real. There's something I'm always telling Bree and people around me is like, I have to be realistic. And when I'm saying I have to be realistic, I don't just try to throw that word around like candy. I'm like, my current situation in life is a very challenging one right now. And I have to be realistic with what I'm capable of versus what I'm not capable of. Plus, dealing with my situation currently in life, I am in school, working, and it's not easy. It's not easy. And
No, I was actually gonna say, like, being a person right now in the world, like we are at a really
volatile state
and just a really like interesting time in our world's history right now, socially. You know, with the rise of technology, I think that plays a lot into why we're at this impasse.
Definitely.
And granted, you know, do what you want, people. But what I think that we really need to be doing more often is posting and running, because, like you said before, Bree, like it should really be a place where you're just kind of doing this photo, video,
Digital
diary. So it doesn't really matter if people interact with it or not. Not for nothing. And I always bring this up as like a joke. And you did it mostly with helmet hair, but I know you still do it now. Like you bank posts.
I do.
And you schedule them, and there's a reason for why, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And to me, that just seems so mentally taxing. And I honestly think, and it might not be for you, but I think the average person who does things like that is honestly hurting themselves
I think
over and over again, because they're putting so much, and I said this before, emotional energy into social media and not living, and you're not doing this. You live a very real life, but a lot of these other people don't. Like this is it for them. Like this is their big time.
it's all they have. Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know.
And by the way, not because they don't have the ability to have something else. This is what they've chosen.
This is what they've chosen.
They think this is the most important thing, and that's the sad part, because it's not like these people are like pathetic or stupid or losers. They just, society, you know, grabs a lot of people, you know, or a lot of people in society are grabbed by these big things. You know, people want to do what everyone else is doing, and not that I'm an exception. There are plenty of trends that I've jumped on. I'm not going to act like I'm, holier than thou, but more times than not, and a lot of the people around me will say, I usually tend to be a contrarian for sure. And not just to spite the trend, but, usually just if a lot of people are doing something, like right now in real time, like everyone is on this Sabrina Carpenter wave. She's probably great. I've never heard a single song. I don't care to listen to a song because
I know
it's not
you've heard Espresso. You
probably,
have to have heard
probably,
Espresso.
but you see what I'm saying? Like you knew right away. Because,
well, yeah, because it's blasted on every single radio that I ever hear, whether I'm in Target, a coffee shop, does not matter. I could be an ice cream shop, doesn't matter. Like it's,
but it's even the online
everywhere.
Personality of her. People are so obsessed with her right now.
Yes,
and I don't know where this fits into our conversation, but another thing that I think that the internet has really done to society, especially our age range, like the young Gen Z, or I'm sorry, the young millennials and the older Gen Z people, is the internet has created this thing where we can take something like a car or I don't know, a type of music that we like or whatever, and that is that person's entire personality trait.
That's what happened to me.
But not online, in real life.
Oh.
Like Jeep people. I'm not trying to call out people. And
Oh my God,
I know you
here
just
you are
bought
coming for my
I
neck.
know you just bought a Jeep, but like a lot of these Jeep people, it's like their only personality trait.
That's
is that,
true.
Like you just meet them and they're like, you want to see my Jeep? And I'm like, what is your name? And they're like, but my Jeep. And I'm like look at all the ducks. Like look at all of these ducks. And I'm like, but you know what I mean, though. I feel like, and there's other things too. Whether it's sports or it's like a frat lifestyle, like whatever it is, people just make one thing their whole personality trait. And I don't know if that's because people in that age range are, I mean, I know for me, like I was in a generation where a lot of parents like discouraged the things that we like. As I got older, like not this big trauma thing, but just like that silly game or the silly, like you were constantly like, it was silly. The things that you like were silly or they didn't make sense or whatever. And I think so now people like
You're
cling
silly
on to
little band, Josh.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's another topic for another day, but
Right. And I think after a while with that energy, people, I think maybe people get frustrated. So they just like, no, I'm diving into my favorite things. Even with us, right? I'm probably the biggest Mac Miller fan that most people who know me know, but I don't make it my entire personality. I don't wear his shirts all the time. I don't only talk about that. It's not the only music I listen to, or like I love action movies and I don't even make being a movie person my whole personality. I am a person and I have personality traits and those are separate from my likes and dislikes in the world or my hobbies. Like people, I don't know. And me personally, my theory is I think the internet has created that because of accounts and things like that focus on one thing. People take the URL and they bring it to IRL.
See what? I felt like that's exactly what was happening to me, which brings me back to why I bank my posts now.
Right.
So when I had my old account, my helmet hair account, like that was literally just about this one specific car that I was building, and like that was the only thing that people ever wanted to see.
Sure.
So I noticed that it worked and I built a following and I built a brand for myself and people knew me for that one specific thing, but that was the only thing that people knew me for. And like, I felt like I was going to go insane if that was the only thing that I could ever talk about for the rest of my life, or the only thing that would be relevant to the outside world was my position in automotive or my position in like the automotive industry or whatever. So now, once I transitioned to my new Instagram that I have, my Bree Lynch IRL Instagram, I still bank my posts. I think it's a force of habit, yes, but I also feel like because I've seen, first of all, when I make an account on the internet, it draws attention, and I'm not saying that in like a selfish, like, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for,
like a conceited way.
Like, thank you, like in like a conceited kind of way. I'm not. I made the URL versus IRL Instagram. That thing has like 30 followers already, and I posted one story on the page and people found it for no reason. Then finally I tagged it and it jumped from 20 followers to 30 followers. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that because I know that my accounts will be found probably from my previous bigger account, I get stressed out not banking posts because I know that me as a person, I'm very, very convinced that I have ADHD, and I am currently like going through that with my therapist and trying to get an actual diagnosis because I want to understand myself better. But I know that I have this hyperfixation focus. It's like a big part of me, and I will hyperfixate on something for a very specific period of time, or like I get into something and I'm super duper into that thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's what happened to me with my bigger account Helmet Hair. And so now I bank posts because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not doing that same thing. So like specifically, like I had this phase where I was starting to do stuff to my Jeep, and like I was making content about my Jeep and blah 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 whatever. I was like doing stupid stuff, like I put stickers on this clear lid top that I got. When I got the clear lid top, I made a video about that, and then I made one where I got this like cool little thing for my tailgate or whatever that turns into a table.
Yeah.
But the problem is if I post all of those in real time, somebody that finds my account from one video is going to click on my account and think she's a Jeep girl, follow, because I like girls that like Jeeps, or I like Jeeps, or I like whatever.
Right.
And then randomly I'm going to start posting my fit pics, or I'm going to be like, hey, my boyfriend's in a band, here he is on stage, or like I'm going to be like, look at my Datsun, or look at this, or look at that, and they're going to be like, what the hell is this? Then they're going to unfollow me or comment some stupid shit. Because that's exactly what happens to me.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I have to bank posts simply for organizational purposes. Number one, because I take pictures of everything. Like I've literally picked up a camera when I was like 12 years old. And I've been obsessed with documenting everything ever since then, whether it's photo, video, doesn't matter. But now I feel like I have to be able to organize things in a specific way so that it looks spread out, so that people don't find me for just one thing and expect that one thing from me, so that they'll like understand that they're gonna get a wide range of things. And like, yeah, you might follow me because of the Jeep or because of the Corvette or the Datsun or whatever, but like that's not the only thing you're gonna see here. Because when I did that the first time on Helmet Hair, that was like a huge mistake, because people were following me for that one thing, and now where's the car? It's sold, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like people are pissed off at me for it to this day, and I haven't posted on that account in like over a year. So it's frustrating. So that's why I do it.
Right.
And I think also just because like for my brain, from a standpoint of like having all of these images, finally it like quiets the noise a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're good. Like I know where they're gonna go, when they're gonna go there. It makes sense, and I can like organize them. That's why I do it personally.
I think,
the average person, I don't understand why they would do that. If you have like 100 followers, like for what?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think even in your case, like I feel that's so stressful, and I feel like
I feel less stressed.
Well, yeah, but less stressed in comparison. Like,
yeah,
like I think,
well, also, I used to overthink posting things because I was like, well, this isn't this exact thing. You know what I mean? So then I would get stressed out because I would be anticipating what people were going to have to say.
I think that's kind of what I feel like Josh is going to understand what I'm saying here, though. The fact that any of it stresses you out at all is the issue. Like, it's like, this should just be fun. And even if it was truly this digital diary that you didn't care about, so what? Like this week you post 3 Jeep videos, but then maybe you don't post another one for a month. Like none of it, not to be annoying, but like it's not real. So like caring, like the fact that you get stressed and the fact that you get de-stressed by this organization just shows the grip that it has.
You should have seen my scrapbook of a diary that I had growing up. I organized things the exact same way. When I was just writing in like a journal and like having photos and stuff or whatever, because I had this weird like journal, diary, scrapbook kind of situation where I would literally like have photos and blah, 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 whatever, but I would organize them a specific way for it to be spread out and make sense for like my month, which is crazy.
The organization part though isn't the unhealthy part. I just think it's the part of it where you're so heavily invested on what the people are going to say because it's not organized. Like if you were like if you said the exact same thing that you just said, but you took out the part where, because if I post 3 Jeep videos in a row, then people are going to be like, oh, she's a Jeep girl. Like if you said, oh, well, I just want my Instagram set up in a way for this because then it makes me feel better, I'd be like, oh, great, that's healthy. Like that's fine. Yeah. You just like organizing. You have generalized anxiety. That's okay. But if you're doing it because you're anticipating reaction, you're swallowed in it a little more than I wish we weren't as a society. And that's not a criticism. That's me feeling for you. Like, you're my friend. Like, I want you to be happy.
I think it's literally just from experience. Like, I don't think that in my brain originally when I first had my first account that I was thinking like that until it happened. And then when it happened, then I was like, oh, this is how I stop
and now it's so ingrained, though.
Yeah.
Well, now I still post at certain times of the day on purpose.
But you see what I'm saying?
I wasn't going to speak on it because, like, I have kind of, like, an unfair bias, but, like, I still feel like you drive yourself crazy and she drives herself crazy still to
Right.
this day.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
I agree.
likes,
Yeah.
the time of day she needs to post, the day she needs to post. Like,
And you're right. Like, you are good at social media.
I think having an app where she can organize it helps make sense of the chaos.
Yeah.
But she still drives herself crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like the premise of all of this is that she wants to be a content creator.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she wants to do these things, but also showcase
She is
her
me.
life. You want to do these things and you want to show off your real life, but you also not show it off, but you just want people to see that there's more to you than what Helmet Hair portrayed. And I think that's great. No matter what, I still feel like you're going to find a lot of hurdles that are very synonymous to Helmet Hair. No matter what you do, you're going to find it. You're going to find a hurdle because people are still going to treat your current content the same way that they treated it in Helmet Hair.
Yeah.
But differently.
Like, I think that the way you're doing it now is better than the way you were doing it before. Don't
For
get me
sure.
wrong.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I just think it's
100% because she's driving
yeah.
herself a lot less crazy.
Yeah, but it's just I just think you and millions of other people it should not hurt or make you feel good or bad because of a post. Like life, like you there's so much going on in the world, there's so much going on in your own personal life that this should be like one of the smallest, like less than 1% parts of your life. And I don't think I could confidently say that social media is less than 1% of your life.
No, it definitely is not. And I feel like, I don't know, I think that with this podcast and like with the name of this podcast and everything like that, something that I realized at a really young age, I know I said this in the intro episode, but something that I realized at a really young age is that everything is like polished to perfection before it is produced and shown, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, for some reason it's shocking to me that so many people don't realize that all of this is like polished to perfection. And I think that's the reason that I really wanted to start this podcast. I've always known that everything is like polished before it's shown to you on whatever screen it is, whether it's the generalized media like on the TV or whether it's on your screen. Everything is picture perfect prior to you getting to see that final product. And I think that that's really what the importance of this podcast, like that's really where that comes into play, because we have to understand that like not everything is actually as it seems. You know what I mean? Like literally listen to me talking about how I like have Instagram posts banked prior to actually posting them. And like I have like 6 ahead of me at all times.
Yeah, and the average listener is probably going to be like, damn, she's really like that on top of it like that.
I'm not even that
like,
bad.
But
There's people that are
there's
way
probably
worse.
people that
Way
are way
worse.
worse. But you know, I'm glad that you're going to have like this kind of happy medium with URL versus IRL and also Bree Lynch IRL, because like Bree Lynch IRL can still be a brand, a persona, a this, a that, even if it's not entirely all real. Like, because again, like if you're a content creator and like sponsors and everything like that want a certain image portrayed. And the cool thing is that if you did have to go that route with, you know, the Instagram or whatever it may be, you know, at least you can have URL versus IRL be the more candid version, where it's like, this is the round table, not insanely all of it, but at least a good 90 to 98% of it is just so conjured and curated.
It's not real.
And not real. I think that's us doing at least a little more justice in our own way, depending on how many people listen to this, showing them that like, there's so much more life out there. Go touch grass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much touch grass.
Yeah, for sure. And like if we're gonna bring it online, try to keep it real.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's really important because you can set a better realistic expectation that we don't have right now.
And we focus a lot on social media, but I think another, you know, part of like the URL versus IRL thing too, I think that should definitely be in the back of people's mind always is the lack of accurate information that we're getting in our current society. We really need to make sure that we're taking everything into account when we are reading listening, whatever it is, like if it's a podcast, if it's an article, like do not take everything at face value. Make sure that you are doing your own research, deciding which sources are the accurate ones.
To piggyback off that, it may seem way harder than it actually is, but like it's not that hard to just think for yourself. It really is not.
No, I agree.
You are your own sentient being. Like you are your own person.
Yeah.
We are autonomous beings. Like
yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes with people.
Think for yourself. You do not have to always base an opinion or base your thought and free will that you have off of the ideas and ideologies of others. They are great stepping stones by all means.
And honestly, though, and like I said, these are all really great things, and I do think that's the way that social media could be used. I just don't believe that people are ever going to get to that point because I just feel like we've had a big, denigration of our society. I just feel like often, and I've said this to you guys in the past, and I feel this way all the time, if I could take, a time machine or whatever it is and just go back to like 2005 or whenever Mark Zuckerberg was in college and just like throw his laptop out of the window, dump a bottle of water on it.
So that Meta could never exist.
Just all of it, because that's where, I know MySpace came first, but really that's when it all picked up. And I feel like if we never had this, we would be so much better off as a society. Like we're just so much better when we operate in the real world. Like we need to come back to having real interactions with each other and really keep, for the people who've lost it, gain that empathy and compassion back and just become more of a connected society. Because I think it separates us more than any other thing, and not social media, but just internet.
But Mark Zuckerberg,
fucking Mark. No, the internet too.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't.
Yeah,
it
just really, really separates us in every way, shape, and form. And that's what they want. That's another thing too, guys. Like the people who control this, like
conquer and divide.
They want us to be arguing with each other because then we won't look up and realize that they're absolutely screwing us every single day.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
We should go touch some grass.
Well, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm chilling. I feel like we killed it.
Yeah.
You guys don't feel like that? That was our first episode together, you guys.
That was
what the heck?
Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. Jamie's in the background applauding. This is great.
Brother.
This is
Hell
great.
yeah, brother.
Yeah. All right. Well, honestly, this was wonderful. This was great.
Thank you guys for coming on URL versus IRL.
No, thank you for having us.
I think that was great. I know I'm going to do an outro by myself because I have so many thoughts and feelings. I just have a lot of feelings. Anyway. That was great, you guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. I know that was a lot, and I know I'm going to have a lot of work ahead of me to edit this one, but it'll be worth it. Wasn't that fun? Did you guys have fun? I had a lot of fun, but I know that this episode is going to be a huge step up from the previous episode that I uploaded with Sarah Haro, because that one, like I tried to explain to you guys before, I'm pretty sure, I started this podcast with what I already had, because I already knew that, like, in order to start, I just had to start. I didn't want to like overwhelm myself and like just have to do way too much before even starting, because I didn't want to psych myself out and never get myself to actually do this thing that I've been talking about doing for a couple of months. And this is something that I feel like has been a long time coming, especially because of the fact that like I've been suggested by multiple people to start a podcast since like 2020. So anyways, with all of that being said, still, like I said, I'm having so much fun, and I really hope that you guys have been enjoying this. Just so much love, man. So much love. So much love all the way around, and so much fun. I'm loving every single second of this, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying listening too. As always, please feel free to reach out to me. Hit me up. Don't be shy. Let's chat. Let's chat about the podcast. Tell me what's been going on in your life. Tell me your thoughts. Give me some ideas. I cannot wait to hear from you guys on Instagram. Don't forget to follow the URL versus IRL Instagram. It's real simple. Just all the letters. URL vs IRL. Or you can feel free to reach out to me on my personal page, which is brielynch.irl. Don't forget to follow Josh and Ryan on Instagram, you guys. Their Instagram handles are going to be listed in the description. Josh's Instagram is Joshua Ravi Ganesh, and Ryan's Instagram handle is Ryan Davila 17. And I guess that's it for now. Seriously? Are you fucking kidding me? No way. on the next URL versus IRL.